You got laugh, keep you crying. So in the midst of this, and we are, let there be no mistake, we are in the fight of our lives, but in the midst of it, whimsy, joy, and love. Every single day, I am going to find something that makes me feel light, makes me want to frolic, makes me feel good. In this dark time, I suggest we do the same.
Welcome back to the second season of America Who Hurt You. I'm Sarah Jones, finally back with you in these intense times. I hope you're doing okay. I mean, define okay, but if you're new here, I play characters from lots of different backgrounds based on my real family and my life, and those characters used to be really vocal on this pod, but due to emergency circumstances, like a new war every other week, you'll be hearing less of my characters and a lot more of my guests, a lot more of me. But if you do miss the characters, tap into our comments on Instagram and other social media at America Who Hurt You and let us know. We will listen. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your pods. We really appreciate all the love and it helps us grow. Speaking of love, even in these times when it can be hard to feel it, we are all so much more full of love for our communities, our friends, our families, and for our creativity than we may realize. And that is exactly the message we hear today from Yvette Nicole Brown. You may remember her as the icon Shirley Bennett on the critically acclaimed sitcom Community, or you may have heard her voice recently in Zootopia 2, or far more roles on the big and small screen than I can list here. But Yvette is also a powerful voice around politics on her personal socials, and she explores the caregiving crisis we're in her podcast Squeezed. Most of all, Yvette is a living, breathing love infusion, even when standing up to hate. So I hope you'll all enjoy this conversation as much as I did. And if you do, definitely share this episode. Follow us on Instagram and the other socials at America Who Hurt You, and subscribe to our Substack at Yes, I Am Sarah Jones. All of that support really helps the work we're doing here, and it'll help us keep doing it in the future. And now, here's Yvette Nicole Brown.
I'm so happy I get to record with you today because this country has been punching me in the gut on a it's like as soon as I think I've recovered for a second, it hits me in what do boxers call it? The bread basket. There are no more lines that anybody hasn't crossed.
No.
And what's so sad about it is how evergreen it is, right? Like it's sort of like, oh, it's hard right now. It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
I want to ask you so many things.
Sure.
But it's really our people. And when I say our people, I want to start with Black women. But I also want to,
problem ever starting with Black women. I think it's great.
We should start with Black women because enough people have said it, right? But whether it's Stacey Abrams or listen to us and you will stop doing terrible things. We are usually the ones saying, please don't go in there.
We are the canary in the coal mine, as they say. I think the thing that also makes Black women exemplary in my mind is that we really do care about everybody. We don't ask for things or fight for things just because we want to be okay. We want everybody to be okay. And so the things that we ask for, like clean drinking water and public schools that are fully funded and healthcare for everyone, these are not things that just benefit Black people or Black women. These are things that if they're put in place will benefit everyone. So the causes that we spearhead and we get behind, it's never just for us. And that's why we say, listen and trust Black women.
That's why we're saying it. It's not because we need y'all to share our hair care routine. We know it doesn't work like that. We know that we've gotten here because people didn't listen. We told them and they didn't listen. And those of my listeners who, this is the thing. It is about us being Black women. And yet, as you said, this is about our collective humanity. And I mentioned how I'm feeling because you're my ray of sunshine who also manages to be information. Whether it's online, I always know I can trust. Y'all, if you're not following Yvette Nicole Brown across her social media, she is a one-stop trustworthy voice. I go to you because I know I'm going to hear the real of it, but I'm also going to feel that uplift. Are you feeling uplifted right now? How are you doing what you're doing?
I remember I used to always say this, even before 2024, I would say, and many people have said, it's not just me, if you wonder what you would have been doing in 1939 Germany, it's what you're doing right now. So what does it take for you to realize that we are in it? We're in it right now. And if this is not scaring you or firing you up or making you want to fight the good fight or get in good trouble like John Lewis told us all to do, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what else it's going to take.
So that's sort of my question for you, right? What do we do with this moment that we're in? And I want to say, whenever this airs, the horror that I can say this with certainty, there will be more. In some ways, none of this is new, right? And
Nope.
so for people listening who are trying to do the both and for this pod, trying to be a survival guide saying, America, who hurt you? But also what's healing us? Like, how are we showing up?
Before darkness fell.
I mean, which time though?
Which
Yvette?
time?
You
Which
gonna
time?
be specific?
Before-
Which darkness? Which
before-
time?
Before January 20th of last year.
Okay.
That window, I was about to say sweet window, but usually it was not sweet. It was a horrible time between November 6th and January 20th. A friend of mine said to me at the time, and to a group of us, we have a group text chat. He said, I don't want to scare anybody and I don't want to be, put 20 on 10, as the kids say. But we are in the last season of time between now and January 20th where life will be like this. He said, I promise you, on the other side, and probably for 2 or 3 generations, we are going to be fighting and trying to fix and bring back everything that we're about to lose. He said, so I suggest you spend time with your families, make sweet love, to go to some movies, enjoy these 2 months before everything changes, because those of us that are 40 and up, it will not be fixed in our time. And it was chilling when he said it. He's someone that's very connected politically. So I know that what he was speaking was true. And I know it even more now that what has happened to this country, the loss of life, the loss of livelihoods, the loss of peace and joy has been greatly affected. Now, I say all that to say, what happens when everyone is saying we're cooked, we're doomed, everything's going to go horrible next year, it's going to be the worst 4 years of our life, 2025 is going to suck. Whatever we were all saying going into 2025, it was millions, multiple millions of us saying it. And what did we get? Exactly the horrible, disgusting, nasty, hateful, hurtful year that we declared will be. So I decided going into 2026 that I was not going to speak death over our country or over this year. So I came into 2026 believing that this is going to be a year that surprises us with beauty in ways we can't imagine. It's going to be a year that we triumph. It's going to be a year that abundance returns. It's going to be a year that people get what they need. It's going to be a year that love prevails. It's going to be a year that people will be more important than profits. I am declaring all of this over 2026 and beyond. And I am encouraging all of you that hear my voice and watch this pod to do the same. Let's have a mental shift. So it may end up being death and destruction, but it won't be because I declared it or expected it. I'm expecting good. So what I am choosing to do is to be the change, which I always have tried to be, but I'm going to try to be a bit of sunshine too. Now, I'm still speaking truth to power. I'm still keeping a boot on the necks of the people that are hateful, nasty, and racist, but I'm also going to make sure that I shine a light on things that delight me. I've made a promise that every single day I'm going to find a piece of whimsy. Whimsy is my word. I don't even do words for the year, but girl, whimsy is my word for this year. I am going to find or experience a bit of whimsy every day. One day I went to the grocery store and Janet Jackson came on. I started to dance in the frozen food section. That was my whimsy for that day. One day I was going to my post office box, little store selling trinkets. I went in and saw a little butterfly ring thing that holds your rings when you're washing your hands, $3. I said, this is my bit of whimsy. It doesn't have to cost money, but every single day, I am going to find something that makes me feel light, makes me want to frolic, makes me feel good. In this dark time, I suggest we do the same. Join me. Everybody, come on. Let's all find something beautiful. Yeah.
The whimsy train is here. We are not leaving anybody behind. I love this practical approach that says, yeah, no, we're not going to bury our heads in the sand. We're not going to pretend this isn't happening, but we can consciously choose to find those moments of joy and whimsy. Okay, so let's see, we shook. I can't speak English. We shimmy shook in the frozen foods aisle
Yes,
with
we did.
Janet.
Yes, we did.
Nobody better. We bought the little ring thing.
Yep.
I almost want a list. And again, this is not, spiritual bypassing. I think we're at the place where the onslaught is so bad that if all you can do is remember to breathe and bring some positivity in when you can, you'll just be balancing it. You'll just barely be balancing.
You got to balance it out because you can't pour from an empty cup. And we have a very big fight ahead of us. Me dancing in a grocery store does not negate that they are murdering people in the streets.
Right.
So as all these things are playing out, you have to be mindful of your own mental health. You have to be mindful of your friends. You have to check on each other. Like, I think the beautiful thing that will come from this very dark time in our country is that people are getting back to building community. I probably have spoken to more neighbors in my neighborhood than I ever have. Everybody wants to stop and talk. And I purposely, after the election, left up my Harris Wall sign. One, because I was just angry. I'm still angry. And I was defiantly deciding that anyone that brought a package to my house or, walked their dog in front of my house, I wanted them to know, one, that I have some sense, and two, that I'm a safe place if something jumps off in our neighborhood. And from that, I've had more conversations with neighbors, and everybody in my neighborhood was not for Kamala. Man, I bet they for it now.
I was going to say, can we have a remorse? You know how people have garage sales or they have a little whatever on their front lawn? Can we get a remorse gathering? We're not going to shame people. We're not going to blame them. We do low key.
I don't
quietly.
know. Let me say this though, sis. Let me say this, and this might not be very Christian of me. I'm good on all of them. I really am. This is 2026.
Right.
So there's been 10 years of not just this man being in office, like he was in office, have been in office 5 years on January 20th, cumulatively. But besides his time in office, he's terrorized us outside of office. He has been a constant piece of fecal matter smeared across our TV screens and onto our spirits.
Mm.
All of our social media platforms are smeared. Our Supreme Court is smeared. Our half of our Congress is smeared. This has been an onslaught of darkness. And I have no patience. And, you losing your job and your spouse has been deported or your mama's been deported. Now, all of a sudden, it's not I will vote for Donald Trump. Now it's something else. No, stay over there. Stay over there. Now, if you're on fire, I got some water for you.
Right.
I will not let you immolate the way you have let all of us just go up in flames under this man. But we don't do the patty cake over here.
Now,
Still.
see, but I think there's something very powerful to me. This makes me think of history, right? And we were just talking about, kind of that we've seen these dictators rise before. And how they were able to do it. We know how they get us isolated from each other. They get us so broken down that we can't fight back or we're too scared. All of that. And yet, when we study history, our ancestors had the kind of, I don't know what to call it, Yvette, but that heart that says, even if you want my harm, even if, we're not going to be friends. But I wouldn't just let you burn. I wouldn't do that to you.
That's exactly what I said. But I think our inherent goodness has always been the thing. It is our greatest blessing and also our greatest curse. I think about, is it Mother Emanuel, where the guy that got the Happy Meal after he murdered 8 people?
Let's not name him either. But I
don't name any of them. They all are nameless.
Right.
They forgave him. That church congregation forgave him.
Yeah.
And they were able to be killed because they had welcomed him and brought him in and said, yes, come on in. I don't know you, but come on in. Enjoy our service. We're on John chapter whatever, and that is what they did, and that's what they got in return. So, and also I feel like as a nation, had we really dealt with the Civil War traitors the way we should have, perhaps we wouldn't be talking about Confederate generals now. Like maybe if there had been consequences for that, maybe if there had been consequences for January 6th that lasted, maybe, we wouldn't have some of those people in mass right now causing.
And in the government, low key, like,
And in the government. A lot of them are in the government now.
in the government. So,
Felons, violent felons.
I mean,
Yeah.
especially for you as an artist, right? I'm
Mhm.
thinking about this. I'm thinking about how you hold both. Again,
Yeah.
this is such a both and conversation and kind of a survival guide conversation. What is it? I think there's a spiritual, we ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. And it's like to hold that reality that our goodness is also a liability in a time when so many people are I think of them as deeply wounded, twisted. I mean, evil is fine. I'll accept evil. But
Yeah.
for me, as I'm thinking about America and America's better angels, I know we're the majority, Yvette. I know we are.
We are, but this is what's happening too, though, and I think people forget this. Even in 2026, Facebook was weaponized against us, right? Facebook started to, first of all, push out disinformation. Then they started to prioritize disinformation and dissension. So they made it look like, via bots and trolls and all that, made it look like more people were fighting you than were actually fighting you. Imagine how sophisticated Cambridge Analytica and the bot farms and whatnot are now. So and then you add AI. So before you could kind of tell that it was a bot because the conversation was a little weird, and
The guy's name was like Yevgeny.
yeah, 50 letters but now that we have AI, they can create a picture, they can create a name, they can create a full profile. They can have other bots as moms and dads and dogs. And then when you're having a back and forth with them, they are literally pushing every button you have.
Right.
For the point of either exhausting you, angering you so you do something stupid that gets you put in jail, or just making you feel like all is lost. And this is the bottom line. Most of them are not real. You cannot tell me that half of this country is for that orange ghoul. The fact that we did not have an inauguration, a public inauguration, should tell everyone that there are not a lot of people that are for this. You look at his little birthday parade that he had. That was
birthday pageant.
Sparsely attended.
Very sparse. Very sparse.
Now, if he was as beloved as he says he is, you can look at the rallies. Towards the end of the rallies, we know that he was paid for a lot of people to come, but even paying for people to come, if they didn't show up on November 5th to vote for him, they have not shown up for his inauguration, they have not shown up for his little birthday pageants and whatever, they don't come to his rallies, which means we are now fighting phantoms, vapor. But the good news about that is that means they also don't have as much backing as they think they do, because this is what all of the MAGA Republicans are learning whenever they go home to a town hall. They go home to the cities that elected them, that loved them and believed in them, and they're getting yelled at and spit on and fought. All of this stuff is happening to tell you that there are not as many people for this as the bots make it seem.
Yes.
And you forget that most of the people in the tank with this orange ghoul are tech bros. You're telling me that a billionaire tech bro can't figure out how to manipulate an algorithm to make it look like everybody's upset?
I mean, I'm not confused. I think some other people are confused, but you are making and this is the thing, right? The fact that as smart, capable, creative, I mean, I didn't even list all your accolades. We will.
Oh, that was me. I thought you about everybody. Okay, thank you.
Listen, I mean, I'm saying that as Americans, we know what we know. You know what I mean?
And
I think part of the reason, I heard this expression one time that really hit me, but it really landed. The demons scream loudest on their way into the fire.
Ooh.
Right? It's a bop. And this is the thing about it. They wouldn't need to fabricate all of this. They're all cosplaying some. Now, is it really taking lives? Yes. Is it really freaking us all out and terrifying us in ways that we didn't see? Yes. And your point that when we love, what did you say? Go make you some love, and we're gonna
You
talk
know,
about
sweet,
that.
well, I mean, I didn't say that. That's what my friend said. He said, "Go and make some sweet, sweet love." I let
Okay,
people
good.
decide when they want to make sweet love on their own, but he said that.
Well, listen, I think what might get us through this, and I don't want to sugarcoat this for people. I mean, yes, it's slogging through 4 years in theory, but as you said, this is going to be generations before we recover from trauma like this, right? That said, this ain't new. I actually had the lovely David Allen Greer on, who
Oh,
is
I love him so
don't we
much.
love him so much? And
Oh, I
he
love
was
him so
talking,
much.
he said, he's shocked. I mean, I shouldn't have been shocked, but the way he framed it, he said, this ain't new. I grew up in this. And I was like he's just old enough.
It's not though, but this is the thing. You know, David's a little bit older than me, but I grew up with it too. And every Black person of a certain age remembers what it was like, you know, to be Black in America fresh out of the civil rights movement. You know, I was born in 71, which was, what, 3 years after Martin was assassinated?
Wow.
Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, excuse me,
Yes.
was assassinated, and give him all of his props.
All everything.
All of it.
Everything.
But that was just 3 or 4 years before I was born.
Wow.
So that's not ancient history.
Right.
That's my history. That's within my dad grew up in the segregated South. He saw water fountains and that he could not drink from, and counters he couldn't order food from. So that's my generation. I think our generation is the last generation where things got better every year.
Right. You expected it. I'm only a little younger than you, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that expectation of the trajectory is just going to keep going up,
And
y'all.
it
We making
did,
progress.
but it did, because everybody, it seemed like everybody understood that we're just people. This thing that racist white people have made such a big deal, it's just a little bit more color. That's it. We're human beings and have just a little bit more color that you really love, because you guys love to tan.
Yes.
So you're not really against the color. You would love to be my color. You would love to have my lips and love to have my rear ends. Things about Black people that they love.
I wish we all got a cut. I wish we all got a cut of every BBL, lip enhancement, tanning. Low key, even the hair. I think about perms. When I was a kid, you could find lots of people
getting them perms. So when you think about what is the thing about us that they hate besides our excellence, it's just melanin.
Yeah.
So it's not. They're making this such a big deal because they need us. And I'm speaking of the racist white people. And to be very clear, the white supremacists. This is not.
Yeah, if you listening, you ain't. This ain't you.
Anybody that knows me knows I got a lot of really wonderful white people in my life. Great friends. This is not about those white people. This is about the hateful, nasty, white supremacist white people. They have done themselves a disservice because racism also hurts them. Yeah. And I believe telling your children that they are inherently better is child abuse. Because those same children grow up and are shocked when they realize how brilliant Black and brown people are. Wow. How did they win? Because they worked hard. That's how they won. And because you were told that you were perfect from birth, you never had to work hard. So they never even learned how wonderful it is to earn it. And as they love to say that DEI is not earned,
I know.
If they only knew how much we had to do just to get in rooms that they are welcomed into, it would just blow their wigs back.
Nobody connects the dots quite like Yvette Nicole Brown. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Yvette tells us how she makes sweet love, but not just in the romantic sense, silly. And we are back with more Yvette Nicole Brown talking about the many layers of love in her life and how they keep her going in these times.
There's so many threads, right? Like there's the political power that you bring to your platforms at a time when that's not safe. But I believe your creativity and the love in your life that, you know, for folks who want to do a deeper dive and learn more, you can listen to Squeezed, which is a podcast series that Yvette has done.
Beautiful.
Looking at caregiving in our culture. And, you know, again, across race, this is an issue that touches everybody. And our dear mutual friend, Ai-jen Poo, you know, who's been on your pod, on my pod, we're in a moment when folks are struggling so much to care for ourselves, for our loved ones. And what you're reminding me is racism hurts everybody. And when services get taken, they think they can take it from one group. And what it ends up doing is harming all of us. But I feel like there's a direct connection between your artistry, your creativity, your love for, expression, then the love that let you go from a good cushion, good job. I mean, I'm talking about network TV. This is a different time to commit to caring for your father with Alzheimer's. That love is also the same love that I see when you're out here, helping folks know what's actually happening in the world, because you're one of the most vocal. And then that same love that I was like, uh-oh, I need to find out what Yvette is doing to fall in love and get married at 50. Tell that. So I'm just threading it all the way through. Tell us, how do we do this love thing that you do so beautifully in so many areas of life?
I really love people, and I really want everybody to be okay. And going back to racism hurting everyone, we don't have healthcare right now across the board, free healthcare, because of racism.
Explain that. Unpack that for people.
Yeah, because back in the day when they wanted to do it, racist white people didn't want black people to get it. So they would
You're talking about literally there was legislation that would have allowed everybody to get health care, but because black people were going to get it.
They were working on trying to make it so that everyone, and it's the same reason why we don't have free college. Because they wanted to provide it for every American citizen, and that meant that the undesirables would get it as well. So they would rather, it's the same reason why they voted for this goal. You know what I mean? Like the idea of he's going to harm people that I don't think deserve, good things. And I like that he's going to harm them. And the only reason they're up in arms right now is because his now suffering is affecting them. Right. Had it stayed in the black and brown communities and their grocery prices were good and their health care wasn't affected by these subsidies and all that, they'd be fine. But because it's affecting them, they now care. So that's how racism hurts the racist as well. Back to the love, though. I think it's important to use whatever platform you have to shine that light on the things that matter. And so I move through life with love. That I defy you to find anyone that can say that I purposely did anything to harm them, unless they are already a horrible, wretched person. If you're a horrible, wretched person, I'm calling it out. I'm talking about it. I'm pointing you out. I have this thing on my social media things. If somebody comes at me sideways in my DMs, like they may want it to be private. I don't think it should be.
I've noticed.
Listen, you come at me crazy, everybody's going to know your name. They're going to know your name. They're going to know your mama's name. They're going to know your dog's name. Let's air it out. You call me the N-word? Let's talk about it. Does your mom know you use this language? Does your job know? So I just believe it's important to shine a light in darkness. Now, the love in my personal life, my father, I left community to care for him. I had him in my home with me for 12 years until last year. He had a fall and he couldn't walk anymore. So I had to find a board and care for him, which is 10 minutes from my house. I'll be going to see him today when we get off this pod. His Alzheimer's has advanced to the point where he is pretty much nonverbal and he no longer is guaranteed to know who I am when I visit. But that's okay, because he is aware. He can tell that I'm his person. I'm one of his people. He knows that I'm his, even if he can't put a name to me. And I get memories. You know what I mean? It may not be a memory that he can hold on to anymore, but I'm going to hold on to it for the rest of my life. And the other loving part of my life is my amazing husband, Tony, who I knew when I was in my 20s. We were platonic friends. He was married, had kids, and was a wonderful father and all that, husband and father. And we lost touch as friends for like 20 some years. And he ended up getting divorced, and then he lost his mom, and I had lost my mom. And so he had been following me on social media, which I wasn't aware of. And he sent me a message and just said, "Hey, I'm just checking on you." And we kindled our friendship, and that friendship became, the greatest love of my life aside from my parents. And I am very grateful that as a seasoned woman,
seasoned.
Come on, seasoned.
Larry's.
Come on, Larry's all up in here. Slap your mama seasoning up in here. He we got reconnected at 51.
Mm,
I was engaged by 52, and we
mhm.
got married when I turned 53, and now I'm 54. So we're a year and a couple of weeks into what has been just the greatest surprise and blessing of my life.
Mm. And
Never
you
give up. Never give
never
up.
see, that's what I was gonna say. So I'm hearing never give up.
Never give
I'm
up.
hearing even in the midst of these unhinged times, the love
The
is
love is still
dominant.
there.
Not only is it still there, it's dominant, Yvette.
Yeah.
Just watching you from afar, and let me tell you, seeing your dad at your wedding,
Thanks to my husband.
all that love, kind of intersecting like that. For me, if I can give people anything on this pod, you don't even have to be Yvette Nicole Brown and be a writer, director, all the producer, all the everything actors, by the way, Zootopia too. Let's just say it.
Is it? Oh, just stop.
I mean, anyway,
I can't.
what I'm saying is, even if you aren't a person who's known for your creativity in the world and, with that level of platform, the modeling of all the love when you follow your heart, let's say you have a dream job that's the equivalent of community, but
Mhm.
your heart says, I'm going to go take care of my dad for this amount of time. And can you speak to, I've heard you talk about the joy, because I can, for anybody who's out there having to care for folks, or if you receive care yourself, these are not easy times. As you said, there's no health care, there's no infrastructure,
And
and alongside all of that, the joy that you described in care, like instead of it being a burden, it
yeah,
was a gift to you. Can you
it is.
speak to? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are afraid of caregiving and are worried like, oh, God's going to come for me one day, or oh, I'm going to have to. It's going to come for me personally, where I'm going to need care, or it's going to come for someone that I'm going to have to care for. And I say to that thought, yes, it is coming for you. It's coming for every one of us. Before we leave here, every one of us will be a caregiver or a caregivee. Some of us will do both. That's what the podcast Squeeze is all about, just being squeezed in the middle, right? But the beautiful thing about it is caregiving is just love.
Mm,
That's all it is.
mm.
And we all know how to do that. We all know how to make sure somebody had a meal. We all know how to make sure somebody is comfortable in their bed. We all know how to make sure somebody has some entertainment to watch or listen to that delights them, right?
That may or may
So
not star Yvette Nicole Brown.
yeah, may or may not. You don't have to start me. But yes, that is what we all know how to do. So
Yes.
it shouldn't be scary.
Mm.
And it should be something that you lean into. The only detriment to it right now is that we don't have the governmental support to help us do it. Like that's the hardest part. Like it's if you can't afford to quit a job like I did to
Right.
do it, and you have to do your job and come home and do full-time caregiving, that's scary. But I mean, parents are doing it
Yes.
because
Yes. And
parenting is caregiving as well. We just call it parenting, but it's also caregiving. So
right.
we do know how to do it.
Love that. Shout out to all the parents and other caregivers and caregivees. So that basically means everybody. We're taking another quick break from our conversation with my sister, Yvette Nicole Brown. But when we come back, she shares the story of the time she left her former co-star, Joel McHale, speechless. And we're back with Yvette Nicole Brown and hope. So much hope, because goodness knows we need all we can get right now.
I'm hopeful about a lot of things. Someone said that, America as we know it is ending.
Mm.
And that's probably not a bad thing because America as we know it has never been really equitable for everybody. It's never been that shining place on the hill for everybody. The thing that made America great, in my opinion, was the idea that there's something on the Statue of Liberty that says, send me, you're broken down and you're sad and you're lost
Tired
and
and
you're
poor.
lonely
Mhm.
and you're looking tired, poor, looking for a new life. This is the place for you. That is what made America great. And now we have a demon in office that is saying that that beautiful thing that we were supposed to be built for and founded on is a detriment. That those beautiful, wonderful, talented, hard-working people that came here to build a better life are now the problem, not the hateful, nasty people, that are tossing them into camps. They aren't the bad people. No, it's the people that come here to work hard. And they all do. I have yet to meet an immigrant that is not the hardest working person I have ever met. I have not met one that is not kind, giving, and hardworking. So I don't even know what this narrative of them being all criminals and vermin or whatever other hateful thing he has said.
I'm sorry to say I've seen reports that that's what's happening,
That's
certainly
what
here in California. Yeah.
exactly. So I'm saying, and they're right now building more of those prisons, more of those for-profit prisons. So we're taking away the Department of Education. We're taking away Sesame Street and banning books and making sure that education, higher education, is too expensive. Anyone clawing their way out anymore. When I was a kid, I knew the circumstances of my birth. Grew up in the hood of East Cleveland, but I knew that I could get out and education was the way out.
Yes.
My mother prioritized that. My dad prioritized reading.
Mm. Mhm.
You know, dream bigger and be a good person
Mm.
and love other people.
Mm.
Like that was the lesson I got. I didn't get told to be a killer.
Right.
I didn't get told that if only one person can get through the door, it needs to be you. You've
Right.
watched the way that ghoul, when he's amongst other leaders, the way he would push a president or somebody out the way. What's that?
Oh, no, but I'm sorry. I just need to say right now is an example of how, as dark as it is, you giving me a belly laugh right now about.
Girl, like my mom used to always say, you got to laugh to keep from crying. You got to laugh to keep from crying. So in the midst of this, and we are, let there be no mistake, we are in the fight of our lives, but in the midst of it, whimsy, joy, and love. Build your community. Make sure it's full of people that make your belly laugh when you least expect it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Learn to crochet, paint by numbers, build a few Lego sets. Like find a way to get through, but then mask up and stay in the fight.
Yes. I love that. And you know what? Surrounding yourself, you were talking about your group chat. Like, I just want to remind myself, and you're reminding me, mutual aid is a term that we see floating around, but it's called, it takes a village. And we,
Takes a
like you said,
village.
we look after each other. We stay in touch with each other.
Yep.
Not if it's people, the ones that you need to leave alone, leave them alone.
Leave me alone.
Leave them alone. Don't, I don't want to hear, don't come, in my DMs talking about, I took care of us, Sarah Jones, and I reached out to that man that I would, no.
Don't do
That's
that.
mutual aid we talk about.
No.
You're talking about when you know that people understand who you are, you
Yeah.
understand them, you have trust. And I love Adrienne Marie Brown, all the Browns today.
Both of them.
She talks about moving at the speed of trust. Because part of
Ooh.
authoritarianism runs on distrust. Like you said,
Right.
you're saying hi to your neighbors. And obviously, if your neighbors ain't the ones to be saying hi to, if they got a whole
Don't
bunch
do
of
it.
Trump signs on their lawn or
Don't do it.
whatever, if you're scared of them, don't do that. But I'm saying this coming together that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what's going to get us through.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, are you
But it's
seeing-
all that's ever got us through, Sarah. Like, I think, sorry to cut you off, I think people forget that the way we made it through, like you think about the bus boycott back in the day, they were walking with each other and giving each other rides. And, that's how, and reminding each other, don't you get on that bus. I know you're tired. I'm going to walk with you a couple of miles because I know you got to get to work. I'm going to walk with you so you don't get on that bus.
Mm.
Like we have to, hold each other up. We have to, when someone's arm gets heavy, you got to come up behind it and you can get that for you. Hold on. I know you got to keep your arm up. Let me hold it for you.
Yes.
Let me keep your chin up. I'm gonna do this. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me do this for you.
You make me cry.
No, but that's what it is. That's what it is. I am my brother and sister's keeper. I am put on this earth, not just to make sure that I thrive, but to make sure that we all thrive. What good is it for me to be on some high mountain looking down with everything, and all I see is people that are suffering? I don't get a warm fuzzy from that. I don't feel good being one of the haves if everybody else is a have-not.
So we know, though, that when the vast majority of us remember our power and link
Yeah.
up together, that's the true power that they
That's
have
the
to
true
fight
power.
so hard. Yeah.
And that's what they're afraid of. And that's why they target Black and brown communities and Native communities. Like, we know how to do, we call each other brother and sister.
Yes.
We see each other. I remember, I don't know if I've ever told this story publicly at the pod. Years ago, the Casa community were at we had invitation to the Golden Globes after parties.
Mm.
And this is when the Golden Globe after parties were all in one spot, all at that hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could go in from one party to the next, you would see everybody else that had ever done anything in entertainment ever. And I'm walking through, all of us are this throng of people, and I see across the way Anthony Mackie.
Mm-hmm.
I never met Anthony Mackie. I don't know him, but I know him.
Yes.
Because I know him, right? Right?
I'm here.
So I see him, he sees me. We're in a throng of mostly white people. Nothing wrong with that, but we were. We little piece of pepper in the rice.
It's Hollywood.
It's Hollywood. We know
Yeah.
we call it what it is, okay? I see Anthony. Anthony sees me. I do the nod.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony does the nod. Pass each other. Be good, sis. Take it easy, brother. That's all we said.
Yeah.
Joe McHale says, "You know Anthony Mackie?" I go, "Absolutely not." I was like, "Never. I just met him." He was like, "But you smiled at him, and he smiled at you, and you talk, you said your little thing." Like I said, "Yeah, that's what Black people do, especially in spaces where we're not. There ain't a lot of us." He was flabbergasted. He was like, I'd never, he'd never seen it. He'd never seen it out in the wild. He had never seen two Black people that didn't know each other. He'd never seen two Black people that didn't know each other already interact like that.
Oh.
And I'm assuming that every time he saw the nod out in the world, he might have thought we all knew. Maybe that's why they think we all know each other. It's now making sense. Because you know how they always think we all know each other? That might be why. It might actually be the one thing that makes sense about some of their antics, but that might be why. So we know community. We know how to care for each other and see each other and look out for each other. And that is the thing that's going to get us all through. We have to rediscover that. And those that have never had it need to find it. And I have a couple of white female friends. I know we're winding down, but I have a couple of white female friends that I love on the way I love on my sisters. And they lean in.
Yeah.
And they have said to me,
they're like, "Is Yvette doing anything? Because it feels so good."
I don't know what this is. I said, "Baby, it's just love. That's all it is. Is I check on you, make sure you're all right." And there's a lot of competition and stuff in their world.
Yes.
It's not true for us.
Right.
It's
We
love.
don't do the mean girl.
We do not do mean girl.
I feel like you have just opened a portal onto this hack that we know.
Yeah.
We have an innate spark, those of us who aren't the teeny tiny percentage in our baby bassinet going, "How can I destroy this planet as soon as I can
Right.
walk?" But the vast majority of humanity is born loving.
Yep.
And so when he saw that head nod and just a quick, "Hey sis, hey bro," all right.
Yeah,
And
you
I
do it.
love it. It's the airport. I mean, I went to
man.
South Africa and had it's like,
I
this is
love a
a
nod.
beautiful practice that we have, that if every white person had had an intervention at some point, I'm not excusing their behavior in any way, but imagine if that love that so shocked Joel McHale that he was like, "What is this planet of love?" Like if we just, so this is what, I'm going to say the Yvette Nicole Brown prescription, y'all. For all of you who are not Black, or maybe, you might be that Patagonia Black that you grew up in Portland or something and you ain't seen a whole lot of Black people. This is for you too. Everybody start to see the people around you
Yes.
as loving reflections of you, as your brother, as your
Absolutely.
sister, as our Native family says. They'll say,
Yeah.
"My relative,
That's
I'm
right.
meeting my relative." Imagine if we saw each other that way.
And also, how about this? Try it out. Next time you're out in the world, just smile at somebody. Say, "How you doing?" Just smile. Now listen. You're gonna get some weird faces back, and you're gonna get that
Yeah.
because they're not used to it.
Right.
Make them used to it.
Mm.
Bring them in. Show them the love that they've missed. Show them a little bit of the community that they've missed, the village that they've missed, the we're all in this together that they've missed. The one that is scowling the most is the one that needs your love the most. Now, don't put yourself in danger.
That part.
Don't put yourself in harm's way, and don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be disrespected. But if you're in the frozen food section and you see somebody, you can say hello. You can smile. That's the easiest way. And that is how you teach people community or a village mindset, because this is the bottom line, guys. If this ghoul continues to do what it wants to do, and if it is able to beat the Grim Reaper back long enough to stay in power for the full term, and even if he doesn't beat the Grim Reaper back or something else takes him out and the Smoky Eye Menace gets in, this still tracks.
Yes.
You are going to need the
Yes.
people in front of you and behind you in the grocery line. It may be the food line by then. You are going to need them. So I say, cultivate that vibe of love, and I got you, and it's reciprocal now. Build it now. So that when everything falls down or they end up sending people door to door, you got somewhere to hide. When I read Anne Frank's diary when I was a kid, I thought of a lot of things. But one of the things I thought about was how beautiful it was that her neighbors created a space to their possible detriment themselves to make sure they survived. How do you get a spot in someone's attic unless you have shown yourself friendly and loving before you need the attic space? Be a neighbor now.
Yeah. I just
Be a
needed
good
to
friend
let
now.
that land for a second because, and my ancestry is complicated by all of this.
All of that.
And I think for anybody listening, whatever your background, if you are a Black woman, then you understand, certain depths of what Yvette is talking about. And if you are somebody of another background, maybe you come from persecuted people and you're feeling your trauma reignited right now, because we got ancestral trauma, y'all, that is coming up right now. So I really want to say you're not crazy. We're carrying.
Yeah.
But that same ancestral love is also there for us, and
guidance.
And guidance.
You feel it. I can feel it. I can feel, and if I'm honest, my entire life I've felt like I've walked with angels. Like I'm one of those people that I'll walk at night somewhere and I never feel like I'm in danger. I can feel them with me. I can feel them encamped around me, protecting me. And I also feel the nudge saying, you can do this. Keep going, baby girl. Like, even as I stand up for things publicly, I don't have a fear of losing everything, because this is the thing. Take it. If the cost of me going forward in my career is not speaking up about the things that matter, I don't want to go any further in my career. I don't. I will downsize till I have nothing. I will sell everything I have to survive. I will do all of that before I will stop speaking up about the things that matter and for the people that matter. So we need that. We need that John Lewis good trouble vibe. You know what I mean? And let me tell you this, being this kind of person, I have never lost. I've never lost. I've never gone without. And I never will. Because one, I have community. Because I've shown myself friendly, I have friends. So if it ever did hit the fan, I got an addict. I got a few addicts.
Girl, you welcome over here. And I only see you from afar.
It's you come on over here. You know you're welcome. So it's understanding that what good is it? What profits a man to gain the world and lose his soul? I'll remix it and say, what profits you to have the #1 network show or #1 movie, but the cost of it is a muzzle. The cost of it is you staying quiet while they're shooting people in the face in the streets. What have you truly gained if your soul was the cost?
It is a privilege. I seek you out at the party. I'm like,
I'd be like, there she is. I'd be so excited. I get so excited when I see you out in the wilds. I get so excited. I'm glad we made this time. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so I'm glad we found the time to do it.
I'm so grateful. And I hope everyone listening has their own personal get out there in the wild and love up on everybody with consent and with some discernment.
With consent.
Yes, with consent.